Hi, so I'm Abby. I'm one of the Groves managers at TreeSisters, and I'm here today with Suzi, who is responsible for education and alliances at TreeSisters. And this is the first introduction to our campaign for International Women's Day 2022, where we're going to be sharing a series of conversations and experiences that people in our network have been having around communicating with nature, um, feeling into the landscape where they live, what that relationship means, how they nurture it, and why it's important. So we're just kicking off this conversation with just wanting to hear from Suzi, and I just want to start, Suzi, by welcoming you. Thank you for taking the time to share this with all of us, and just wondered if you wanted to say a little bit about your relationship to the TreeSisters network.
I do. Thank you, Abby. And it does feel like a really beautiful place to start this conversation because I've been in the network for roughly 7 years or so, and I've just got such enormous gratitude for the different people that I've had the huge privilege to hear from in that time. The calibre of experiential understanding, wisdom, book writing, nature leadership, and sharing from personal dreams and visions and artistic work and creativity, has been a huge part of what helped me to have confidence in that what I was experiencing with trees and with waters and with landscapes wasn't just me, that actually it's a phenomena that is happening all over the world and is part of the human relationship with the earth, and the TreeSisters network, particularly those relationships in the network were utterly pivotal in helping me to realize that it was a really viable thing to explore the wisdom that comes through nature and comes through that listening, particularly in how it's expressed through science, which is really helpful articulation and sort of deeper work as well.
Thank you. Yes, we're very blessed, aren't we, with this community of and a place to share experiences and not feel alone and isolated in the types of experiences that we're having. And so I guess it lends us to just to trust more deeply in those experiences. And I'd love to hear a bit about how it's informing the way that you communicate with nature, the work that you do right now.
Well, so predominantly the work that I've been doing is with Rebecca Lefton, and we've been listening into other networks. So TreeSisters has been an extraordinary network to sit in, and it's not the only one. It's quite unique in many ways, but the networks of the Mother Earth Delegation of United Original Nations, Wisdom Keepers networks, the networks of women in Asia, in Australia, the networks of Original peoples and nations in many different landscape traditions also have direct experiential understanding of what it is to work with the earth as conscious and intelligent, and the appropriate manners and respect and protocols in different landscapes of what is supporting nature at this time. And so those have been what we've been really deeply leaning into, and also to lift up those voices because it's coherent. It's something that is a part of how humans seem to be on countries all over the earth, and each country has such wisdom, each landscape, each small grove has such wisdom to bring forwards for the whole. And so we've been compiling that, if you like, and using that in the sense of evolving something called the ethical tree growing framework, which is a sort of bridge between conservation and reforestation science and ancestral wisdom, in terms of, both of those two paradigms having such enormous love and care for the earth and such enormous desire to protect and preserve and thrive for local communities and plants and landscapes. And so, you know, trying to find the shared language that means that those two wisdoms can sit alongside each other and really benefit how we move forwards in our practices.
It's really exciting. I'm really hearing the kind of the different like layers of listening through this. So we're kind of, you know, this series of sharings this week is really about, you know, listening to the earth, right? And it's like, oh right, yeah, listening. I'm listening on the level of I can hear a bird singing. I'm listening, you know. And then there's like, oh, I'm, you know, things have gone really quiet. I'm listening more. You're talking about listening to the ways in which other people have done things, listening to the stories within just simply within the Tree Sisters network and feeling that coherence and that sense of community, and, you know, not being in isolation with these experiences of what it really means to live intelligently in a body on an earth body. And it's really like, would you say that the listening is the thing that's kind of at the center?
Well, I mean, it would depend on how you define listening, I suppose.
Yeah, it is a huge thing. I think, yeah, the layers thing is
yeah. I mean, I think maybe the thing that's the question that I really like is, what does it mean? And what does it mean that humans have these experiences? What does it mean that we're able to work this way in our alignment to care, love, the conscious intelligence of the earth, and what does it mean for how we take care of future generations? What responsibility does that mean that we have? And also, what does that mean to speak up on behalf of the needs of those future generations at this time specifically? So there's a kind of intelligent listening. There's a listening with action, a listening that is what is in your source connection, your beingness, your wider multidimensional being to bring, and that listening is at the same time as also listening to the different beings that you're in communication with, and where it's resonating, and what's emerging through the combination of your togetherness in what we're capable of.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's really I really like the sense of it, like a truly intelligent listening, and again, it's kind of how do you define intelligence, how do you define listening? But like, you know, that's where we really get to the kind of core of things, isn't it? Is when we really go into defining these words and sharing, oh, well, to me it means this, and you know, to somebody else it might mean something different. And yeah, could you kind of share any particular, you have any kind of specific experiences or practices that you maybe do just, you know, literally in your garden or in your local area?
Well, I've got loads, and you know, and it kind of in a way is very playful around what it is that you're feeling in the moment. I mean, I do try and go out and I greet the day first thing every day, and wander about in the garden. I'm inclined to treat all of the being aspects, element, forms, rocks, anything in the garden as amazing and awesome, and really be so grateful. And I think that process of just being and trusting your body where it wants to go, what it wants to sit with. For me, one of the great loves is the play of the sunlight on leaves or dewdrops or frost, and just to allow that beauty in, and to sit with that, and to let go of anything that says that you can't, you know, to let go of all of the sort of systems and thinking and overwhelm and control aspects that make it feel hard, to just really deeply appreciate something little, like again, the sort of light through a bird's wings fluttering, or sitting with a river or a water source, or getting in it if you're Abi. Any, you know, whatever it is that that just allows you to sort of nourish yourself with that beauty and that love, and feel and let that love be for something that is receiving your love.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. I love how you describe it, making me immediately want to go outside right now, which is a brilliant feeling. And that's really what these this week is about, and what we're celebrating, and International Women's Day is this, this ability to drop into ourselves, to slow down, to not give so much weight to those stories and that conditioning that says we need to be doing, or we need to be useful, or we need to be productive. We want these, and this series of videos that we're sharing this week, are more than an intellectual interesting, oh, that's really very interesting what Suzi's talking about. This is really an invitation. We really want this to be received as an invitation to go out there. And so we're suggesting, we've got a 2-day break over the weekend, and we're suggesting that this is a time to, as much as is practically possible, to come to a place of no distraction. So which is, there are so many levels.
Well, and sometimes it's not even a very long period of time, isn't it? Sometimes you've just given yourself a moment, because actually what it is quite, it can be quite quick.
Absolutely, doesn't take long.
And it also feels like it feels so pertinent right now, because it helps us when we are doing our busyness and our action and all of those things that are part of life, to be informed in our choices by that beauty and that care for future generations of all of those beings. And just so to plug into that for a moment, then we can bring that with us, and in the house too, with the taps.
Absolutely. It's all, we are, wherever we are, it's all we are the elements. They're living in us. We don't have to go outside to make contact with the elements, but
it is really nice.
But it's so nice to get that direct transmission from being out there. So is there any other way you've shared some lovely sort of ideas for tuning up, tuning in, noticing, and I think that sort of ridding ourselves of screens and distractions and this and that.
Well, I suppose there are notes on the TreeSisters websites about like the basic manners of, if it is that you want to like check in with a tree and that's not something that you've had experience of doing before. So there is those articles, and we can maybe share those links. But I think maybe for me the thing that's really helpful is to bring a notebook, because what I notice is when I'm in that space, I can feel really, really clear about what's actually important, what I actually need to do. And often there is just a little note or a little bit of writing or flow, and other people may work differently, but just so that the action that comes, or the feeling of something that you recognize is important, you've just been aware of it, and you're able to bring that into your list of
that's a great tip, that it's those moments that you think, oh, definitely I'll stay
I'll definitely
aligned with that. I'll totally remember that, like a dream. And then it's gone. So writing it down, drawing, bringing it into the body, and something wonderful.
Well, and it offers that opportunity to self-reflect as well, doesn't it? Because if it is that you're wanting to share an experience with somebody else, sometimes that doesn't always help, because they haven't had the same experience. Whereas when it is that you're self-reflecting, then you're able to sort of reaffirm that to yourself. That's what it is for me, and build on that strength and confidence that's what's coming through for you. It doesn't matter if that's not what's coming through for somebody else, or nobody else has that experience, but you're holding and valuing that, and that honors those relationships, that honors that landscape, that is presence that aspect with you, and it honors yourself. And I think and I think that's really important.
So that sort of self-validation of that, and how that can help to build a daily practice, and
help to grow your confidence, because you start to see the patterns of being like, oh, okay, well, I've gone out this day, and each time I sit with this tree I feel this, and or those different bits, and then you start to build confidence. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. that's how I'm going to shift this. That's what I'm
I definitely need to go there today, or definitely need the water over the earth today. Or wonderful. Well, that's really exciting. Thank you so much for sharing, and really look forward to hearing more about the ethical tree growing framework and all the wonders that's going to be and bring to us. And really hope you enjoyed hearing this day one of International Women's Day 2022. Thank you, Suzi.